I'm Ethan Carter, 27. My ex Lauren stood outside my Atlanta apartment with a megaphone screaming I betrayed her after she ditched me for her old flame in San Diego over my birthday. We'd been together 3 years, living together for 10 months. Have you ever faced someone who turned the tables after they wronged you? I'd love to hear your story in the comments. It was a crisp Atlanta morning in 2024, the kind where the city hums with early traffic and coffee shops start brewing. I was at my desk working remotely when a distorted wail pierced through my fourth floor window. At first, I thought it was a car alarm or some street performer gone rogue. But then I caught the words, Ethan Carter is a cheater. He stole my best friend. My stomach dropped. I knew that voice, Lauren Mitchell, my ex of 3 years who'd walked out on me just weeks ago. I pushed back my chair and peered out the window. There she was, 26, standing on the sidewalk in a bright red jacket, clutching a megaphone like she was leading a protest. A handmade sign in her other hand read K Lua Doi a day. The absurdity hit me hard. This wasn't a movie, but Lauren was putting on a full-blown performance. Neighbors poked their heads out, Mrs. Jenkins, the retired librarian across the hall, squinted through her glasses, and a guy walking his dog paused, smirking. Lauren, what are you doing? I muttered to myself, grabbing my phone. My first instinct was to record this. If she was going to make a spectacle, I'd have proof. The camera rolled as she shouted again. He broke my heart, him and Chloe. Chloe Bennett, 24, Lauren's former best friend, was now my girlfriend. Lauren's words stung, but they also felt hollow. She was the one who'd left me for her ex Marcus in San Diego. Mrs. Jenkins leaned out her window and hollered. Didn't you run off to California with your old boyfriend, honey? A few neighbors chuckled. Lauren's face flushed, but she doubled down, megaphone crackling. That's not the point, the dog walker shouted back. Sounds like it is, I couldn't help but grin. Atlanta's no-nonsense vibe was not on Lauren's side today. I dialed the police, keeping my voice steady. There's someone disturbing the peace outside my building. She's using a megaphone. The dispatcher promised a quick response. While I waited, I watched Lauren pace her sign, wobbling. She looked smaller than I remembered, her confidence fraying under the neighbors' stares. For 3 years, I'd loved her. 10 months of that sharing this apartment, splitting bills, arguing over who forgot to buy coffee. But now seeing her like this, I felt a strange mix of pity and relief. The police arrived in 10 minutes, 2 officers in crisp uniforms stepping out of a cruiser. Lauren lowered the megaphone, trying to charm them. I'm just exercising free speech, she said, tossing her hair. The older officer, a woman with a no-nonsense bun, wasn't having it. Ma'am, you're disturbing the peace. Put that thing down and leave, or we'll have to cite you. Lauren's shoulders slumped. She muttered something and shoved the megaphone into her bag. The sign hit the ground as she stormed off, her exit as dramatic as her entrance, except for the soft close hinges on my building's door, which robbed her of a proper slam. Back inside, I replayed the video on my phone. Lauren's voice echoed tinny and desperate. I'd been blindsided when she left for San Diego, claiming she needed a break to find herself. But this was next level. I thought about Chloe, who'd been there for me when Lauren bailed. I thought about the past 3 years, how Lauren's choices had unraveled everything. As I saved the video, I knew this wasn't the end of her drama, but I also knew I was done waiting for her to dictate my life. 2024, Atlanta, Georgia. I'm Ethan Carter, 27, sitting in the apartment I shared with Lauren Mitchell, 26, wondering how 3 years of love turned into a conversation that broke everything. Our place was cozy, a one-bedroom in a lively Atlanta neighborhood with a coffee maker we fought over and a sleek air fryer I'd bought before we met. Lauren and I had been together 3 years, living together for 10 months. We'd built routines, morning coffee, movie nights, splitting the grocery bill. But lately, things felt off. She was distracted, always on her phone, brushing off my questions with a quick smile. I chalked it up to her job as a social media manager, always chasing trends. But deep down, I knew something was wrong. It was a Monday evening, the air thick with spring humidity. I was sprawled on the couch, scrolling through work emails when Lauren sat down, her face serious. Ethan, we need to talk, she said, her voice steady but sharp. My heart sank. Those words never lead to anything good. I've been thinking a lot, she went on. I feel like we're stuck in a rut. I need a break. Some time to find myself. A break, I sat up, trying to process. Like a breakup, I asked, half joking, hoping to lighten the mood. Don't be dramatic, she snapped. It's just space. My cousin invited me to San Diego for a week. It'll give us perspective. San Diego. My birthday was that Saturday, and we'd planned to try a new sushi place I'd been raving about for weeks. She'd made the reservation herself. You're going to San Diego over my birthday, I said, my voice tighter than I meant. Ethan, it's not about you, she replied, rolling her eyes. It's about my mental health. I stared at her, the words stinging. When are you leaving? I asked. Wednesday morning. Already booked, she said, casual, like she was grabbing coffee. She'd planned this without telling me. That hurt more than the break itself. I leaned back, trying to stay calm. Okay, so what's the deal with this break? Are we seeing other people? She paused too long, her fingers twisting the hem of her shirt. It's a break, Ethan. We're not technically together. Let's just be adults about it. Her vagueness was a red flag, but I didn't push. Fine, I said. Enjoy San Diego. She nodded, stood and grabbed her phone already typing. I watched her wondering who she was texting. Wednesday morning she left with a quick bye like she was heading to work. I stood in the kitchen, the coffee maker humming, and felt the weight of her absence. Later that day, I saw her Instagram story pop up a selfie at the airport captioned, Han Trin Tur Kam Fa. She looked radiant, carefree, not like someone wrestling with our rut. I poured my coffee and stared at the machine, a gift from my mom that Lauren always claimed as hers. 3 years of building a life together and she just walked away. I didn't know what was coming, but I knew I couldn't just sit here feeling sorry for myself. That evening, my phone buzzed. It was Chloe Bennett, 24, Lauren's best friend from college. Hey, heard about the break, her message read. You okay? I typed back, I'm good. Thanks for checking, she replied. She told me at the airport. The timing's rough with your birthday. Want to grab dinner Saturday? No one should be alone for that. I hesitated, then agreed. Why not? Better than moping. As I set my phone down, I glanced at the air fryer, remembering Lauren trying to claim it in one of our silly arguments. Maybe this break was her way of claiming something else entirely. It was Wednesday evening, and I was still reeling from Lauren's departure. Her break announcement had left a sour taste, especially since she dodged my questions about what it meant. I was in our Atlanta apartment, the silence louder without her usual chatter. My phone buzzed, pulling me out of my thoughts. It was Chloe Bennett, 24, Lauren's best friend since their college days. Her text read, Hey, heard about the break. That's tough. You holding up? I typed back, I'm fine. Thanks for checking in. Her reply came fast, Lauren told me at the airport this morning. Sucks with your birthday coming. Any plans for Saturday? I hadn't thought that far. Not really, I admitted. That's no good, she wrote. Let me take you out. No one should spend their birthday alone. I hesitated. Dinner with Chloe felt like crossing a line, but Lauren had said we weren't technically together. Besides, Chloe was just being kind. Sure, why not? I replied. She sent a smiley face and promised to pick me up at 6. I set my phone down, glancing at the coffee maker we'd argued over so many times. Maybe a night out would clear my head. Meanwhile, Lauren's Instagram was lighting up. By Thursday, she'd posted beach shots from San Diego sundress waves, cocktails. Then I saw him Marcus Reed, her college ex, in the background of a boat party pic, grinning with a drink in hand. My gut twisted. Finding herself, I didn't respond to her text that night, San Diego's amazing Ethan. Hope you're good. Instead, I focused on work, trying to ignore the sting. Saturday came my 27th birthday. I woke to texts from my mom Diane and a few buddies, but nothing from Lauren. Typical. I shook it off and got ready for dinner. At 6, sharp Chloe pulled up outside my building in a sleek black sedan, wearing a deep green dress that caught the streetlights. You clean up nice, she said, smiling as I slid into the passenger seat. You too, I said, meaning it. She'd put in effort, heels, earrings, the works. We headed to a sushi place in downtown Atlanta, not the one Lauren had booked, but better. The vibe was warm with soft jazz and the clink of sake cups. Over dinner, we talked about everything but Lauren, my remote job, her marketing gig, our shared love for old sci-fi flicks. Chloe didn't check her phone once, a stark contrast to Lauren's constant scrolling. After sushi, we walked to her car, the Atlanta skyline glittering. She stopped, her expression shifting. Can I be honest? She said. I nodded. I've liked you for a while, Ethan. Over a year. Watching Lauren take you for granted killed me. And this San Diego trip. It's not about finding herself. She's been texting Marcus for months. I saw her phone once deleted messages, but I know. I froze. She's chasing him, I asked. Chloe nodded. She thinks you're too safe. Wants to see if there's still a spark with him. Her words hit hard, but they also clarified things. Lauren wasn't just taking a break. She was testing her options. Chloe stepped closer, her voice soft. You deserve someone who chooses you first. Then she kissed me quick and gentle before pulling back. Sorry, I shouldn't have. I didn't think. I kissed her back. We drove to my place, talked until 4 in the morning about her hidden feelings, her guilt over Lauren, my frustration. She crashed on the couch, keeping things respectful. Sunday morning, we made breakfast together. Pancakes, coffee, laughter. It felt right easy, like the Sundays Lauren and I hadn't had in months. My phone buzzed Lauren with a photo of her and Marcus on a yacht, his arm around her waist. Happy belated birthday, she texted. San Diego's healing. I showed Chloe, who raised an eyebrow. Real subtle, she said. We spent the day at an Atlanta farmer's market, picking out fresh herbs, then cooked dinner and watched a movie. That night, Chloe didn't sleep on the couch. For the first time in weeks, I felt like I was moving forward, not stuck in Lauren's shadow. It was Friday afternoon, a week after my birthday. I'd spent the week with Chloe Bennett, 24, feeling lighter than I had in months. Our Sundays at the farmer's market and movie nights felt like a new beginning, a stark contrast to the tension Lauren left behind. I was at my desk answering emails when I heard the door. Lauren walked in glowing from her trip, dragging a suitcase. Ethan, I'm back, she said, her voice bright like nothing had changed. She leaned in for a hug, but I stepped back, my jaw tight. Hey, I said, keeping my distance. How was San Diego? Incredible, she gushed, tossing her hair. I feel like a new person. We have so much to talk about. Her enthusiasm felt forced, like she was selling me something. I crossed my arms. We're on a break, remember, her smile faltered. Well, yeah, but I'm back now. Break's over. I raised an eyebrow. Is it? Before she could answer, the bedroom door opened and Chloe stepped out wearing my old college t-shirt, her hair in a messy bun. Lauren froze, her suitcase slipping from her hand. What the Chloe? Lauren's voice cracked. Hey, Lauren, Chloe said, calm but firm. How was San Diego? How's Marcus? Lauren's face drained of color. You too, she stammered, looking between us. How could you? I stayed steady. We were on a break. Your rules. Lauren's eyes narrowed. A week, Ethan. I was gone a week, and you're with my best friend. I didn't flinch. You spent that week with Marcus. We all saw the pictures. I nodded at my phone where her Instagram posts Marcus's arm around her on a yacht still lingered. That's different, Lauren snapped, her voice rising. I was finding myself. Chloe stepped forward, unfazed. In Marcus's bed, Lauren's mouth opened, then closed, her hands shaking. This was revenge, she said, tears forming. You did this to hurt me. I shook my head. No. I spent time with someone who actually wanted to be here. Someone who didn't need a plane ticket to figure out if I was worth it. Chloe touched my arm, a quiet show of support. Lauren's composure crumbled. She started yelling, accusing us of betrayal, her voice echoing in the small apartment. 3 years, Ethan, and you throw it away for her. I kept my tone even. You threw it away when you booked that flight. She stormed to the bedroom, grabbing clothes and shoving them into her suitcase. You're both disgusting, she spat. Chloe didn't blink. You left him for Marcus, Lauren. You don't get to play victim now. Lauren tried to slam the door, but the soft close hinges slowed it to a pathetic glide. I almost laughed. 20 minutes later, she emerged with 2 suitcases, her eyes red. I'm staying with Ashley, she said. I'll be back for the rest of my stuff. Text me when. I nodded. I'll have it packed. She glared at Chloe. 3 years down the drain and you helped. Chloe crossed her arms. You drained it when you got on that plane. Lauren's final shot came as she reached the door. You two deserve each other. I couldn't resist. Thanks, I said. Chloe smirked. Lauren's face twisted, and she left the door sliding shut with a quiet click. I looked at Chloe, the weight of the moment settling. The apartment felt emptier but freer. Lauren's suitcases were gone, but her drama wasn't. My phone buzzed an hour later, text from her, a mix of anger and pleas. I can't believe you did this. We can fix this, Ethan. I didn't respond. I knew this wasn't the end, but standing there with Chloe, I felt ready for whatever came next. It was the week after Lauren stormed out her suitcases, barely out the door before my phone started buzzing. Her texts came in waves, first pleading, we can fix this, Ethan, then accusing, you and Chloe are disgusting. I didn't respond. After 3 years of bending to her whims, I was done letting her control the narrative. The apartment felt lighter without her stuff cluttering the corners. The coffee maker hummed as I brewed a pot, and I smiled knowing I wouldn't have to argue over who bought it anymore. Chloe Bennett, 24, had become my anchor. We'd spent the weekend after Lauren's meltdown at an Atlanta farmer's market picking out tomatoes and fresh basil, then cooked pasta at my place. We laughed over a sci-fi movie, her head resting on my shoulder. It was the kind of ease I hadn't felt with Lauren in months. Chloe wasn't just Lauren's old college friend anymore. She was someone who saw me, not a backup plan. But Lauren wasn't letting go quietly. My phone buzzed again one evening as I worked from my home office, a corner desk, with a view of Atlanta's skyline. It was Malik Johnson, a mutual friend from our old game nights. Yo, Ethan, he said when I picked up. Lauren's telling everyone you cheated. Said her San Diego trip was a family thing. I snorted. Family thing, check her Instagram. Malik paused, then laughed. Oh damn, that dude Marcus is in every pic. She thought she was slick. I told him about the break she'd sprung on me right before my birthday, how she'd dodged questions about boundaries. Man, that's cold, Malik said. You good though? I glanced at a photo of Chloe and me from the market pinned to my fridge. Yeah, I'm good. Lauren's social media game was in full swing. She posted cryptic Instagram stories about fake friends and betrayal, her face artfully sad in filtered selfies. I ignored them, but Chloe didn't. One night, as we chopped vegetables for dinner, she showed me her phone. Look at this, she said, smirking. Lauren's latest story had a caption, when people show their true colors. Chloe tapped out a response on her own account, a photo of us laughing at the market. Her caption read, when someone leaves you for their ex, find someone who chooses you first. I raised an eyebrow. Bold move, I said. She shrugged. She started it. The post blew up. Friends we hadn't talked to in months commented, piecing together Lauren's San Diego trip from her own photos. Marcus's arm around her yacht parties, beach shots. Wait, she left you for him, one wrote. Girls got nerve. I didn't add to the noise. I didn't need to. Lauren's story was unraveling without me lifting a finger. By Thursday, Chloe and I were settling into a rhythm. We'd go for walks in Atlanta's humid evenings, talk about work, dreams, anything but Lauren. One night, we sat on my balcony sipping iced tea, the city lights below us. You ever think she'll stop? Chloe asked, nodding at my phone where Lauren's latest text. You're throwing us away, sat unanswered. Maybe, I said, but I'm not holding my breath. Chloe squeezed my hand. You don't have to. You've got me. I looked at her grateful for her steadiness. The apartment, once a battleground of Lauren's drama, felt like home again. The air fryer, the coffee maker, the couch, they were mine, not ours. But I knew Lauren wasn't done. Her texts were getting angrier, her posts more desperate. As Chloe and I cleaned up dinner, I caught another notification, Lauren hinting at taking back what's mine. I shook my head, knowing whatever she planned next would be bigger and messier. It was about 10 days since Lauren stormed out of our Atlanta apartment, her suitcases, leaving echoes of her anger. Chloe and I were building something real quiet evenings, shared meals, no pretense. But Lauren wasn't ready to let go. One Tuesday morning, as I sipped coffee on my balcony, a delivery guy knocked. A bouquet of roses sat at my door, $75 worth, with a card. I'm sorry, Ethan. You're my everything. I recognized Lauren's handwriting instantly. I sighed, setting the flowers aside. By evening, a takeout order arrived, sushi, my favorite, another $75 with a note. Can we talk? I tossed the note in the trash, the sushi untouched. Chloe laughed when I showed her the pile of deliveries. She's really going for it, she said, stirring a pot of soup in my kitchen. We'd planned a low-key night, just the two of us cooking and catching up. She thinks she can buy me back, I said, shaking my head. But Lauren's moves were escalating beyond flowers. My phone rang that afternoon. My mom, Diane Carter, her voice sharp with concern. Ethan, Lauren called me. Said you're having a breakdown. What's going on? I groaned. She's the one breaking down, Mom. She left me for her ex in San Diego, remember, Diane huffed. Oh, she skipped that part. Good riddance then. Lauren didn't stop there. The next day, my boss, Greg Thompson, pulled me into a virtual meeting. Got a weird call, he said, scratching his head. Some woman, your ex, claimed you're dating a coworker and making everyone uncomfortable. I stared at the screen. Greg, I work from home. I don't even have coworkers here. He chuckled. Yeah, figured it was nonsense. Just document this stuff, okay? I nodded, grateful for his trust. Later, Chloe told me Lauren had called her marketing firm too, spinning a story about inappropriate relationships. Her boss laughed it off, hanging up mid-sentence. Lauren's accusations were falling flat, but they showed how far she'd go. That weekend, Chloe and I went back to the sushi place we'd visited for my birthday. The warm lighting and soft clink of sake cups felt like a refuge. We ordered a platter, tuna rolls, salmon nigiri, and talked about our plans. I'm thinking about a road trip, Chloe, said, her eyes bright. Maybe Savannah, just a weekend. I grinned. Count me in. For the first time in years, I felt like I was building something without looking over my shoulder. We raised our sake cups, toasting to new beginnings. My phone stayed quiet, no notifications from Lauren, and I let myself relax. But Lauren wasn't done. Late that night, as Chloe and I watched a movie on my couch, my phone buzzed with a new message from her. We need to talk. In person. I'm serious. I showed Chloe, who rolled her eyes. She's not giving up, she said, but her tone was calm, confident. I didn't reply. Lauren's attempts, flowers, food calls to my mom and job were desperate, but they weren't working. Friends like Malik were already seeing through her lies, and her Instagram posts, once bold, were losing traction. The comments on her latest story, whining about fake friends, were sparse, mostly from people who hadn't seen the San Diego photos. As Chloe and I cleaned up the dishes, I glanced at the coffee maker, now just mine. The apartment felt like a home again, not a battlefield. But Lauren's message lingered in my mind. In person, she'd said. I had a feeling she was planning something bigger, something to force my attention. I looked at Chloe, her smile grounding me, and knew I was ready for whatever Lauren threw next. She could keep trying, but I was moving on. It was a Saturday 2 weeks since Lauren stormed out of our Atlanta apartment. Chloe Bennett, 24, and I were in a good place, our days filled with easy laughter and shared plans. I was still half asleep brewing coffee when the banging started. I opened the door to see Lauren, her eyes wild, and Marcus looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. We need to talk, Ethan, Lauren said, her voice sharp. All of us. I rubbed my eyes. It's 7 in the morning. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. Just hear her out, man, he said, like we were old friends. I'd never met the guy. Chloe appeared behind me, tying her hair up. What's this about Lauren? She asked, her tone steady. Lauren squared her shoulders. I brought Marcus to prove we're just friends. Nothing happened in San Diego. Marcus frowned, clearly not on board with her script. Lauren, tell him the truth, he said, his voice low. She glared at him. Shut up, Marcus. I crossed my arms. You flew to San Diego to prove you're just friends. On my birthday, Marcus shook his head. Look, man, she's been blowing up my phone since she got back. I came here so she'd stop. I raised an eyebrow. So no hookup in San Diego, Marcus sighed. Nah, she wanted to, but I've got a girlfriend. Rachel. Those yacht pics, just Lauren trying to make you jealous. Lauren's face crumpled. Marcus, stop, she snapped, but he kept going. She planned that trip to win me back. I only hung out because my cousin felt bad for her. Chloe laughed softly. You faked a fling to mess with Ethan. Lauren's eyes darted between us, her plan unraveling. I was confused, she cried. It meant nothing. Before I could respond, Chloe pulled out her phone. Rachel sent this yesterday, she said, showing me a letter on legal letterhead. Rachel, Kim Marcus's girlfriend and a lawyer, had drafted a cease and desist, ordering Lauren to stop contacting him or face a restraining order. You're harassing him, Chloe said. This is done. Lauren's hands shook, tears spilling. You stole him, Chloe. You both ruined everything, I stepped forward. No, you left. You got on a plane and left. Marcus nodded, backing toward the door. I'm out. Lauren, stop calling me. He walked away, shaking his head. Lauren stood there alone, her voice breaking. It was nothing, Ethan. Please. I shook my head. You threw away 3 years for nothing. We're done. She turned and ran, her sobs echoing down the hall. The soft closed door slid shut, muting her exit. Chloe squeezed my hand. You okay? She asked. I nodded, feeling lighter than ever. Yeah, I'm good. A few days later, I learned someone, not me, I swear, sent the video of Lauren's megaphone stunt to her employer, a boutique social media agency. Her boss didn't take kindly to her public meltdown. It clashed with their brand values. By midweek, Lauren was fired. Word spread fast among our friends. Malik texted me, Yo, she's out of a job. That's rough. I didn't reply. Lauren's choices had caught up with her, and I didn't need to add to the noise. As Chloe and I sat on my balcony that night, the Atlanta skyline glowing, I felt a weight lift. Lauren's drama had peaked, and she'd lost her job, her credibility, her grip on me. I hadn't fought back. I just lived my life. And with Chloe beside me, that life was looking better every day. It was a warm evening about a month since Lauren's megaphone meltdown outside my apartment. The city hummed with its usual rhythm, cars weaving through downtown streetlights casting a soft glow. Chloe and I were at the sushi place we'd first gone to for my birthday, the one with warm lighting and the clink of sake cups. We ordered our usual tuna rolls, salmon, nigiri, and raised a toast to our 2-month mark. To us, Chloe said, her smile steady. I clinked my cup against hers. To moving forward, I added. The past few weeks had been quiet, peaceful, a stark contrast to Lauren's chaos. Lauren, 26, had vanished from my life, but not without a final crash. After her failed confrontation with Marcus Reed, her ex-word got around fast. Rachel, Kim Marcus's lawyer girlfriend, took to Instagram laying out the truth. Lauren had been texting Marcus for months before her San Diego trip, chasing a spark he didn't return. Rachel posted screenshots Lauren's desperate messages, Marcus's polite rejection, saying he was happy with Rachel. The comments exploded, friends from our old circle connecting the dots. She planned that whole trip to mess with Ethan, one wrote. I didn't need to add fuel. Lauren's own actions had burned her bridges. Then came a surprise. My phone buzzed one afternoon as Chloe and I lounged in my apartment, now free of Lauren's belongings. It was Brandon Mitchell, Lauren's younger brother. Hey man, his message read. Sorry for taking her side at first. I didn't know about Marcus. That megaphone thing was wild. Mom's making her go to therapy. I showed Chloe, who chuckled. Therapy's probably a good call, she said. I typed back. All good, man. Hope she's okay. And I meant it not out of love but closure. Lauren had moved back to her parents' place in another state, her social media gone silent. Word was she was struggling to find a new job after her agency fired her, the megaphone video cited as unprofessional conduct. Our friends rallied around us. Malik Johnson, who'd called out Lauren's lies, invited us to a game night. Even my mom Diane called to check in, saying, You're better off, Ethan. That girl was trouble. The apartment felt like mine again, coffee maker, humming air fryer, worrying no more arguments over who owned what. Chloe and I spent our days building something new, weekend walks, cooking together, planning that Savannah road trip she'd mentioned. It wasn't rushed or forced. It was right. As we finished our sushi, Chloe leaned across the table, her hand brushing mine. You ever think about how fast things changed? She asked. I nodded, sipping my sake. I thought Lauren was my future. Turns out she was just my past. Chloe smiled, her eyes warm. Good thing I was paying attention. I laughed, the weight of the last 3 years gone. Lauren's choices, her trip, her lies, her megaphone had cost her everything. I hadn't fought back. I just lived better. And with Chloe by my side, that was enough. Sitting in that Atlanta sushi restaurant, I felt a peace I hadn't known in years. Lauren's drama, her San Diego trip, her megaphone, her lies faded like a bad dream. I learned you can't control someone else's choices, but you can choose who stays in your life. When someone walks away, let them. The right person will show up when you least expect it. Chloe did. What's a lesson you've learned from letting go? Share it in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. And if you enjoyed this journey, hit that subscribe button for more.